You are T. Who are we? You are T. Yo, people, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm at your baller. Fucked and hard out there. You're playing a lot. Well, boy, oh boy. Guys, I swear to God, I was in the stadium. I hate that competition anyway, but I swear to you, I nearly fell asleep in that first half. I nearly fell asleep. I can't tell you enough how I nearly fell asleep in that half. In that first half. Honestly, it was a joke. It was an absolute joke. Yeah, man, big up Shekarian, but honestly, it was a joke. First half, we had one shot on target. One shot on target was the header. Brilliant cross by Ahmad. Everything attacking we did tonight came through Ahmad. So I hope he was limping a bit. So I hope he's not injured. But yeah, at times he was also frustrating. He was giving the ball away. I just need a coach to come in and just, I swear to God, if you give like the ball away more than 3 times in a game, you should have no wages. You should take your wages and should be given to the Manchester United Foundation, who help the homeless and all of that, all those different charities. Professional footballers giving the ball away. And I don't mean like 40-yard passes, 5-yard passes. And the first half, it was the most boring game I've ever seen in my life. Second half, it picked up. We played a lot better. We made chances and we scored 2 goals. But boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because at least he was trying to make things happen. Yo, Vaz, you put him off. Vaz, I'm going to send Vaz a message right now. Vaz needs to jump on. Oh my God. Vaz. I'm sending him now. Let me just send this to him. Jump on. You put the lad off. Let me send him some emojis. Oh God. If you know, you know. Honestly, it was a fucking joke. But big up to everybody though. Yeah, he looked good, didn't he? He looked good. He was trying things. But at times he was also guilty of giving the ball away, to be fair. But just, the stadium, everybody's moaning and groaning. Every time a United player gave the ball away, the whole of the stadium, we're just fed up. We're sick and tired. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired, I swear to God. Honestly, this manager cannot start enough. He can't start enough. He can't start on Monday enough, honestly. He can't come Monday enough. Honestly, I can't tell you. Who's that, Mr. YouTube? Lauren, you misunderstood my tweet, bro. Okay, apologies. I don't know what you said. But big up to you, though. I make my apologies right now. I'm dyslexic, fella. I'm dyslexic. Big up to Nura Beats. He sent me the thing saying review, and I thought it said preview. The thumbnail for the video. Oh God! Already, why Bruno's giving a new contract? Embarrassing. I know, mate. I know. Honestly, I know. Honestly, I'm telling you, the whole stadium is just fed up. It's just fed up. The whole stadium is fed up. Honestly, the whole stadium, from every corner, I can hear that. Oh, every time somebody gives the ball away, we're like, oh, everybody's groaning and moaning. And like, everybody's just sick and tired of just watching dross. Honestly. It's just, yeah. The stadium is toxic. The players, the way they're playing is toxic. Everything is toxic. Everything is toxic. Honestly, I can't. I'm never. You know what these days remind me is at the end of Jose Mourinho days. That's what it reminds me. There's this cloud. There's this energy, there's this cloud hanging over everybody. So it's weird. It's really weird. Ahmad's brilliant overall performance was shit. Can't keep the ball. Bruno infected the whole team. Listen, it is, honestly. Yo, Augustino, are you available? I'll send you the link. Do you want to jump on? Let me know if you want to jump on, King. I can send you the link. Let me know if you're available. I can send you the link, King. Big up to you. Garnacho, spoiled bastard. I'm sick of it. Wow. It's crazy. Yeah, bro. Definitely. Definitely. It was one of those games. Honestly, the stadium is just full of it. Augustino, listen. I'll send you the link if you're available. Can you jump on? Let me know if you can jump on. No problem if you can't. Bruno is so bad. God. These men don't look like they have coach. Ahmad is the only competent outfield player tonight. Dross football, yeah. Honestly. We're doing this against Paok. Their fans were amazing, by the way. Bloody hell. Their fans, give it to their fans. Their fans were doing absolute madness in that stadium. They're an absolute credit to their football team. Your face is too serious for a winning side. Bro, are we going to paper over the cracks then? Do we just, woo, we won, woo? Or are we going to discuss the game and talk about it? Honestly, that first half was bad as any time under Jose Mourinho. That's when it was toxic. That's what I felt like. That's what I felt like. Big up to you, Sheikh Arian. Ruth, I think Ahmad, the second goal, had everything in it. That, for me, is Ahmad Diallo. He fought to take the ball off a defender, then pushed through, and then he had the bend to round the goalkeeper. That sums him up. Yeah, well, why are you not playing him, fucking Rude? Why? What? I bet you he doesn't play on the weekend. Rude, Ahmad is our best player in the first half and decided the game in the second. Okay. We desperately need a left back. Big up to you, man. Rude van Nistelrooy, I said to the last before the game that this a year ago, since the last European win at Old Trafford, we couldn't believe it. It's time to turn it around and build a change. Well, we got our first win in Europe for over a year. Woo! It's a big period for the club. Sadag, I would be pleased with the XG. Nathan! Nathan, big up Nathan, the comment of the night. I'm telling you, XG, mate. Rude says here, Ahmad has been incredible in training. He's never affected by not playing, always training well, staying on the training pitch. Saying, Rude, let's do more. Rude, let's do more. Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Big up Jarvis. I like Bowley. Bowley 787, mate. No messing about Bowley. Please tell me, did you fall asleep? Did you have to have a coffee to watch the first half? Please tell me. To be fair, what we're expecting. I mean, Rude was helping to coach this style of football. He's not changed, has he? He's not really changed it. We're still playing the same way. But honestly, I'm just saying to everybody on the stream, that first half reminded me, do you remember Sevilla game at Old Trafford? You know that I remember the first half being dull. Remember the one when he was talking about football heritage and all of that stuff?
Yeah. The game when he benched Pogba and started McTominay. Mourinho.
Yeah, and then he was hoofing the ball all the time. Yeah, that game, and I walked out half an hour to go in that game because I was like, what are we doing out here? But honestly, the stadium, I don't know if he came across Jarvis, Sean, but people are sick of being tired. 5-yard passes.
Wait, are we upset?
Of it.
at this game today?
Yes, the first half. It was the most dross football I've seen since Jose.
Come on, Nura. I mean, come on, Nura. This was a free hit, as far as I'm concerned. This game today was a free hit. We were fairly comfortable throughout the game. The players look motivated. There's a smile on people's faces. I don't see why we should be doing anything other than just talking about how well some of the players played and how we can't wait for our new manager to start. I think this was we can't be drawing any significant lessons from this game other than Ruud van Nistelrooy is 3 for 3 in terms of not losing any games while he's temporarily in charge. The team looks a lot more confident together, better defensively than the last few games now that Ten Hag is gone. And we're getting players back from injury, so I was glad to see Mason Mount back today. I'm glad to see that Ruud clearly has the sense to rotate and try and manage the squad. I'm glad that Ugarte is getting more minutes. Casemiro looks a lot like a leader. He almost ate Shola Shoretire, almost ate his head basically after that tackle. And after the game, Martinez and the likes were trying to get him to forgive him. But that looks like a team that is together, finding themselves, getting into the rhythm of being around each other. I think there are just too many positives, honestly, to take from what we saw today. I wouldn't. I don't know. I guess we differ fundamentally on the approach, but I just don't think we need to spend time on the mistakes that we all know and have been seeing for for a year and a few months now. There are just so many. And I just want to point out because I don't know. I saw the stuff about Faz, and I see some people writing for Faz, in the comments. I think my 2 cents is that was kind of rude, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, I think it was rude. I think it was uncalled for. I don't think the thing that Garnacho needs to be hearing when he's about to go into a game is all the things that he's doing poorly and how he needs to improve his game. I think these players.
No, he needs to be fucking told. That's the problem, you see. Some of these fucking players need to be told. But move for a minute. I want to hear from Jarvis. Jarvis, what's that first half? Boring loads of fucking shit. The stadium, everybody's groaning, moaning. Everybody looks fed up. But Sean is telling me we can't talk about it. We can't analyze the first half. What are we doing out here?
Well, Nordin, we can say that the Vibes FC is over. The little bit of energy they got, the group after Ten Hag left, is over. I think they are back into normal, and this is the level. We are playing against the Paok, and they're a Greece team. They're from Greece, I believe, and the level of this team is nothing to write home about. So we should have beaten them. You saw Chelsea tonight. We should have beaten them 5-0 or something because it's levels between our teams. But a win is a win. I'm not going to sit here and complain, but there's nothing to talk about in this game. I would say there's no surprise that Ahmad plays well. He's a baller and we know it, and he just needs more chances. I think Ahmad was really good today. I'm positive to Lindelof, actually. I think he had a good game. And there's not much more to say. We created an XG of, in the full 90 minutes, we created an XG of 1.14 against 0.87.
Yeah, but Jarvis is right.
Augustino, I've sent you the link.
The level of Paok is bad, but this is our first win in Europe in about a year. Right. So I mean,
we have to start somewhere. But I'm not going to sit here and be like super positive just because we won. I think the level, we need to raise our level if you want to be a good club and compete. This is not good enough, and we need to be better. That's for sure. And we can't sit here and be happy just because we won 2-0 against PA.
Jarvis, I think that goes without saying, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would hope that it goes without saying that we need to improve the levels and we need to. But if you situate it in the context of one win in Europe in the last year, then I'm just saying that, like, I don't know if the thing we need to focus on is the obvious, that we need to improve the level. When we're seeing, as you mentioned, Ahmad with a smile on his face, tearing shit up, basically. We're seeing the 60 million pound midfielder that we signed, Ugarte, finally getting some minutes and getting some game time. I think we're looking at potentially some version of the midfield trio that we would see this weekend, and we're likely going to see for the rest of the season. That's Ugarte, Casemiro, and Bruno. I like that midfield. I'm looking forward to seeing what Amorim has in mind. But I suspect it will be some combination of those three people, right? Looking forward to seeing Kobe Mino come back. Looking forward to seeing
But
Euro
Sean,
come back.
does it concern you that that Eriksen comes on and do a much better performance than Ugarte? And Ugarte has been this second game in a row where he performs below par. Today was not a good game from him, and last game wasn't either. I don't know if I will give him time. Yeah, I agree,
yes,
and I see,
exactly,
but I'm not happy with what he's doing at the moment. I don't think he's doing very much. And
no, I kind of hear what you're saying, that Ugarte looks a little shaky on the ball, and in modern football right now, your number 6 needs to be, in addition to a great tackler and a great defender, needs to be good on the ball, needs to be able to carry the ball, needs to be able to be good in tight spaces. I don't know if it's just a question of give him some more time, or if there are some more fundamental
No, he's
issues.
adapting to the league. He's adapting to the league. He's adapting
like,
to a new team. And Manchester United is chaos. I'm not having to go with any of the new players, but let me just get this super chat. But Sean, I swear to God, you moved the goalpost. That was dreadful for Manchester United standard against PAOK. And you're telling us we've got to forget about it. What are you on about?
I didn't say
Adewale said, sure,
forget about
it's definitely a troll. No one can tell me differently. I'm not surprised you think Bass was rude. You'd have no standards. You're toxic.
Yeah, I mean,
this ain't a primary school football. This high-level sport. Fast didn't swear at him. Fast didn't insult him. Fast just said, ensure your first touch is better. And Fast encouraged him to say, score a goal. Make sure you take your first touch. I don't think you have to
insult somebody to be rude.
No, he didn't.
And
majority of people, Sean, majority of people are fucking hypocrites, because they all sit in there, watch their television, and they scream the same. And in the stadium, you should see what people say about the players in the stadium.
There's such a thing as emotional intelligence, right? And I don't know why this needs to be explained to people, that you can't just say whatever comes to your mind. The problem with Adewale, the problem with Faz, and the problem with this generation of YouTube people, right, is that you've not been socialized properly in the real world, right? So Faz thinks that he can just go and say anything he likes to Garnacho and not get a response. You're fine to say what you want, but then don't come and tell me that I cannot respond or I cannot call you out as rude, because that's the world.
No. Faz is not saying he cannot respond. Faz is not saying that.
So he's entitled to do what he wants, but he should also be ready. He should also be ready for whatever backlash comes his way.
Yeah, exactly. And Faz is not complaining about it.
I think the people being hypocrites, right, are the people trying to throw stones and then hide their hands, right?
Well, Faz is not doing that.
No, so then I think he was rude. I don't think, like, emotional intelligence.
They're being shit.
Emotional intelligence.
He was fucking shit against Chelsea, and he was shit again tonight.
I know you think that. I just don't think it's responsible. It's responsible or respectful.
You know, right? Other fans around Europe, you know, their fans, they break into their fucking train. They break into the training spaces and they smash up the places, and they actually do that. And they speak to the players. Players have to speak to them. They do that in France and different countries.
So that's what we
should
do.
And DC, multi-millionaire, multi-fucking millionaire, can't even fucking saying, make sure your first touch is right.
No, he took it now, but he responded. He took it and then he
nobody's talking about it. And to me, I'm pointing out the hypocrisy of the fan base.
Armchair experts in the fan base who think they know football.
Listen, people are playing football. You're getting paid all that fucking money and you can't even control a fucking ball. We're not going to talk over each other. Sean, we're not going to talk over each other. You say something and I'll finish. I want to hear from Lesso. Lesso, the first half in the stadium was the biggest dross ever. What did you see? Honestly, if you're not on a strong, what are you drinking there? Herbal tea, Jarvis? or did you have a coffee at halftime, Lesso? What did you do? What were you doing?
To be honest, I fell asleep, man. I struggled to sleep this week, and somehow Man United proved to be an insomnia
Sleeping
cure.
tablet.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, no man, I managed to actually sleep towards the end of the half. But I woke up just slightly after, just after recess. And yeah, we're very terrible to watch here at the moment. But the 3 points, it was needed at the end of the day. I'll give them that. But overall, man, it's very terrible to watch. I mean, all of us can agree to that. Despite the positive results, that the overall play is still not up to par yet. Hopefully, the new manager comes in and gradually gets it right, but yeah, the level of performance was just draws. It was just a draws to watch. Even the fans at the game, you could feel it even from your television set. The people are just they're just cruising with the game, like they literally, I think they just, some of them, I saw some of them even playing with their phones. Some of them were having chats about the weekends. You can tell that people are having genuine conversations among themselves. So the interest is not there at the moment, and you can't blame them. I mean, you come to games, like I say, you come to games, you want to be entertained. Uh, Football is there for entertainment, for an entertainment factor. I don't want to come back from work or studying or doing something, and then I have to watch that and endure that for 90 minutes. I can't do that. It's just not humanly impossible to actually go to something for an entertainment purpose and then just not get entertained at all and leave happy. You're lying to yourself if you think that's okay. But obviously Ahmad, as usual, no doubts. We've said that he should have been given chances, and he's proving it once again. Came through again with 2 goals. Should be a starter. I don't know what we're doing, because this guy literally could walk for free in the summer, and we still treating him this badly. In terms of not awarding him for good performances at times, or making him feel somewhat that if he makes one mistake, he no longer has to play. He's literally playing like with like a tracker on him to say, if one mistake happens, something, the tracker beeps, and then you have to take him out. Because honestly, otherwise we're gonna lose him. We're gonna lose him in the summer if we keep going, if we keep doing what we're doing with him and not using him correctly. But overall, Amorim needs to come in and sort out this mess. Yeah, it's a job and a half for him. He has his hands full.
Amorim the savior.
Yeah, he has his hands full with these lot. I'm not gonna lie to you. I would not have wanted him to come into this mess. As a manager, I think we're more suited to bring in someone like the manager at FC Barcelona. Why am I losing his name now? Man United have got me concussed.
The Barcelona manager.
Hansi Flick.
Hans Flick.
Hansi Flick. Yeah. Hansi Flick. Yeah.
Let me just get a super chat. 1 second, Lesso. Bass told him, please pass better. How is that rude? You're acting like a kid. You're a grown man living in the real world. Stop talking like this. Listen, I just want to say to big up Sheikh Arian. Sheikh Arian, those people who were abusing you are now blocked. Because I'm not having people abuse each other in the flipping chat. So anywhere on Twitter, on my Twitter, you know what I mean? Everybody, majority of people there are hypocrites. But yeah, let's so continue. I just want to shout out Ben as well. Let me just get this 1 second. Let me just shout out Ben. Big up Ben. It says big up the Palace Free Palace and those like, subscribe. Big up the PSV. Yeah, man. Big up. But the Celtic are, to me, Celtic are incredible. But go ahead, Lesso. Listen, no, Sean. Before you go ahead. Have your last say. Last say before you go. Sorry, Lesso, hold that. Sean's got to go. So let Sean have his last word before he goes. Go ahead, Sean.
No. He's just taking a break. 5 minutes. He will be back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, let's finish. And then we've got, he's made his debut on URT. He's joined the hooligans. He's joined the hooligans. Big up Augustino, but let's finish up and then we go to Augustino.
No, big up. I mean, we said what I think we pretty much said what we said. I think, you know, with these players, you need someone with a very strong character. You need someone who's, you know, who's also gonna, you know, be friends with them, not really friends with them, be an older parent sort of thing, but one that's actually not too much of a disciplinary, but a disciplinary at the same time. These guys, unfortunately, you know, these players, this group, the culture is just rotten at the club, you know, and I think we're throwing this manager under the bus, to be honest, you know, with the just judging by the attitude of this, you can tell that they can't take criticism. You know, I've noticed that thing, and I've seen it with this generation, that when it comes to criticism, you gotta tread carefully with them. You know, and even when it's constructive, it's not out of a place of hate or anything like that. It's just like proper constructive. I mean, you go around the world, guys. I mean, this is nothing. You go to Garnacho is the one who wants to go to Real Madrid. He won't survive a minute there. Those guys attack players' cars. I remember they attacked Bale's car after like a poor game, or that time when he went golfing. Instead of, you know, recuperating from an injury, and he went and golfed, and, you know, they saw that it as disrespect, and they attacked these cars. It's rough out there, you know, and we are picking and choosing and going, you know, overprotecting players sometimes. You know, someone needs to pull those players away from their entourages and actually sit them down and tell them something that's truthful, because I feel like that's what's missing with a lot of our players. But yeah. Just away from that conversation, it was a positive result, guys, and yeah, it's 3 points finally.
Big up Augustino. How you doing, King? Big up to you. URT Army.
Hey, yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, man, we can hear you, man. Warm welcome, bro. How you doing?
What's good, Noordin? What's good, Lesso? What's good? Yeah, man. Journey positive was definitely the result, innit? I think what Sean was saying earlier about there being many positives, what was the exact words? Too many positives to mention or something. I was like, I don't know what game we was watching, but I have to admit and back up my brother Lesso. I fell asleep midway through the first half. I'm not gonna lie. I fell asleep. I woke up again. It was the second half. The second half picked up a little bit more. Fair play, but pretty bad game. And I think the beginning, maybe the first 15 minutes, Paok had a couple of chances. There was one particular shot that ricocheted, and I think I remember Nodi saying this. Maybe the Chelsea result. I think this is a type of game where under Erik ten Hag we would have lost that off the back of that ricocheted goal. It was just kind of these type of dodgy matches where an opponent that's not that great, we don't start well, they get a lucky goal, and then we can't respond. Luckily, that ricocheted shot didn't go in. We went into the first, we went in the second half 0-0, which kind of gave us a chance. And then, of course, our better players in terms of Ahmad kind of stole the show. But oddly enough, as great as Ahmad's goals were today, I didn't even think he was that great. Like, he's played way better than this today. Like, he wasn't even. That's the really sad.
He was giving the ball away like the rest of them. Yes,
that's the really sad thing about Ahmad's career so far. And I think my stream, a guy was mentioning everything about that Cholatire kid, and saying how he watched him when he was in the youth setup and he was scoring a bunch of goals and he was incredible, and he just hasn't worked out for him for whatever reason. Injuries, temperament, maybe he's not at the level, who knows? But it's wild how quickly your career can change. Like, Cholatire was like highly rated. Everyone thought he's going to smash at United. He doesn't make it. He's playing at Paok. And Ahmad was kind of maybe on the cusp of maybe even leaving the club, especially Erik ten Hag stays. He's running down the last year of his contract, and suddenly now everything's kind of turned around. It kind of shows you sometimes players, it's not always down to them. It's the circumstances around them, the coaches, the time, what era the team is in at the moment. So that I'm kind of happy to see him kind of turn it around. But the sad thing is, like, he's played better than this and still been benched. And the players that he has been benched for, they're not that much better than him. And I don't think they're better than him now even. So that was a concern. The midfield as well, like, I don't know, man. Like, Ugarte got a lot of heart. I like how he challenges and shit, but when it comes to playing football, man, that guy, man, I don't know. I'm hoping Amarin's going to come in and maybe give him less of responsibility of being a ball playing midfielder and maybe just winning the ball back and giving it to the players who can play. Maybe the Casemiro partnership gives us great solidity, but I think in terms of playing football, it's not really great to watch.
Yeah.
Bruno Fernandes, again, another anonymous performance, got an assist. Somebody actually in my replies was like, yeah, he got an assist. What are you talking about? He played well. And like, I don't know how people are watching football these days where you can just pull in a 2 out of 10 performance, get an assist, and suddenly you played well. It's like, what? So I'm not understanding what's going on there. And yeah, man, it's just worrying. And of course, the Garnacho situation with Faz and just his general performance. I think people are making a mountain out of a molehill. I've said way worse on the timeline about players. So I don't really see any difference between what I say and what we say on what Faz said. If anything, what Faz said was like minor. If anything, this is a great example of just people just not liking him in general. I think ever since those comments he made about looking forward to Erik ten Hag getting sacked on United stand, a large portion of United fan base have hated him ever since then. So just using an excuse to kind of not like the guy, which is okay, fair if you don't want to like the guy, but I don't think it's that real harsh what he said to him. And if anything, after the Chelsea performance and recent performances from Garnacho, he deserves that and more, to be honest. He's been pretty bad. He's been pretty bad, man. Like, and agreed. And I don't know, like, I don't know about what you guys think, but I'm mulling. I'm not really too sure if it's even him. I've got a feeling maybe the coaches are telling me to play it that way. I'm not too sure a player of that age and that stage of his career would be that bold to just like ignore his teammates when they're clearly in an open position and just keep going for goal. Like that game against Chelsea was the one where just like I was shaking my head. Look, there was a chance towards the end of the game where he gets the ball outside the box. He can't shoot. And then he just turns around and just loses the ball because he can't shoot. He can't figure out a way to keep the ball if he can't shoot. If he can't shoot, it's no point. He reminds me of like kids used to play with in school who, like, if they couldn't run through a million defenders, they just give up. They just stop, or they'll just hang right at the top of the goal. It's like, brother, like, what are you doing, man? So, but the other side of me, I appreciate that he takes that responsibility as a young player. I appreciate that he's always asking for the ball. He's always game. Every time, even when he gets clattered, he picks himself up again and runs at the defender. He's not scared. He's got like a heart of a lion, for lack of a better term. But it's a team game, brother. You're not that guy at the moment. Like, you gotta like pass the ball. You gotta like retain possession. You gotta make yourself open to other. Like, it's just always the shot, and the same thing again and again and again. And it's just frustrating. So what Faz said to Garnacho was like on the books from what recent performances. I don't really see people getting their flipping niggas into stuff or nothing. Højlund, another proof again that playing up front for United is just really hard. It's just difficult. Whether you're Zovsky or Højlund. And Højlund, a lot of people would say, I would agree too, he's maybe the better one at the moment, but he really struggled today. The touch wasn't sticking. That defender, I forgot his name, was all over him the entire game. Yeah, man, there's a lot of work to be done. I think all the giddiness about that Sporting result, as good as it was, I think was way overboard and premature. I think Ruben Amorim's got a real job on his hands to get these players playing at the moment, because we don't really have attacking fullbacks. I feel like the midfield combination still isn't where it should be. There's a big Bruno problem that we all know to see there. We've got two strikers that are pretty low on confidence and form. Our wingers, I think, with the exception of Ahmad, are pretty ordinary. Mason Mount's been sticking up the place for a while and injured. There's a lot of things to do, man. This isn't like people are really, I don't know if people are overestimating Ruben Amorim's ability as to coach, or they're like underestimating how bad these players are.
They think he's Houdini, mate. They think he's going to come with a magic wand. And all of a sudden, the place is going to turn into very flowery, gardening. Everybody's going to be cheering. Listen, I just hope he knows he's walking into the lion's den. Honestly, Jarvis, I hope he understands what he's walking into. Like, because this, honestly, was dross. Big up, Agostino. Honestly, you said everything, bro. Everything. And by the way, Vas had that little interaction. I think Vas streamed. So this idea that people are just going crazy, I honestly, I don't know. But big up to all the people who are spamming us. I don't know how he's beating the spam, but he's doing it. It's just unbelievable. I mean, honestly, Agostino, you must get that on your channel, bro. Do you get
Yeah, the ones I get though are a little bit more of the adult variety, telling me to call a certain number, asking if I'm single, am I up, You know, do I live local? That sort of stuff. So yeah, it happens all the time, man. It's annoying, but
yo, you got fans. You got fans at least, bro. You got fans. They look like they're more admirers. But listen, Jarvis, honestly, it was dross. There's nothing to go on about. Even Ahmad, 100% was giving the ball away, even though he stole the headlines and whatever. But he was crap. Bruno again. Rasmus Højlund today did not have a good game. Diego Dalot. I think if the players who stood out today, definitely Ahmad, obviously the 2 goals. And Masraoui, just another 7 or 8, you know what I mean? 7.5. Yeah, Masraoui. Did you see anybody else? I was sick of the diagonal balls. Lindelof and Evans, to be fair. Lindelof and Evans. Lindelof, Evans, Masraoui, Ahmad. I didn't think Ugarte did anything too badly. I thought that was the harshest yellow card. Because Ahmad lost the ball and then he just stepped in front of the guy and then he got a yellow card. I thought the referee was dreadful.
Yeah, the referee was okay for me, but you know, it was the intensity of the game. We need to up our intensity, especially when we play against teams like this, you know, just to finish off the game right away and show them how football should be played. But we are actually dropping down to their level. You know, they are letting us get away with just walking around, not actually giving you know, the Vibes I talked about. The Vibes are dead. The Vibes FC is over. This is nothing close to what we had the first game after Ten Hag's sacking. So, you know, I'm not sure what's wrong with this group of players when it comes to attitude, ability, mentally, how to prepare for a game. I think they go into this game and think, yeah, this is an easy game. We will win it. You know, they don't look sharp. And I don't know if it's because they know that Ruud will only be here a couple of more games, 1 game more after this, or if they think that Amorim is not watching the game. I don't know. But if I was a player at Man United at the moment, I would give 110% in every tackle, pass, everything that happened in the game, because they have to prepare, because things will happen. You know, a lot of these players won't be in Amorim's plans. We went through it yesterday. His tactics, the 3-4-3 formation. He needs ball carriers. How to play with the directness. How to be able to keep possession, lure out the opposition, attack the room in behind. All of this. And the only player I saw who really wanted it was Ahmad. I think he will be a perfect number 10 in one of the 10s for Amorim as we see it now. But the rest of them, I don't know. A lot of them, I don't see a future. And even Bruno, you know, he's our captain. I think he needs to up his game even more if he wants to be in this Amorim team, because I have high expectations now. I mean, going through his tactics and what he's going to do. And I think it will suit us well if the players respond. But that's the only if, because it was like I wrote in your comments yesterday, it's like Shakespeare when he said it's something rotten in the city of Denmark, and it's something rotten in Man United, and I don't know what
they haven't been kept honest, right? Like, I think a lot of all these players, whether it's player FC or for whatever reason, or managers who, when it got to the ends of their tenures, they started relying on only a few players that they trusted. But you know, a lot of these players haven't been made to actually compete for their positions. Most of them, regardless of what goes on, they're the first name or the second name on the team sheet. And Amorim's number one job is to make sure that every single game, every player who steps on the pitch is playing because he deserves to be playing, not because his name is Rashford, because his name is Bruno, right, or because he's English, or because he's an Adidas sponsor, or an Adidas person or whatever. And you know, I guess it all comes down to whether or not Ineos and or the Glazers will back Amorim if and when he decides to sideline some of the club's favorite players. But yeah, it's really just about integrity. It's really about integrity and the dressing room culture. Basically, I don't know if you guys saw this thing that Hugo Lloris, like, I think there's a report about what happened after when they got to the final of the Champions League, that he was saying that that's when he knew that Tottenham would never win anything, because Daniel Levy gave all of them watches for being finalists, quote unquote. Right, that's an embarrassment. And I think there's some of that attitude at United as well. Participation trophies, hyping up players, before they ever actually achieved anything. Picking sides, right? Putting all our hopes on Ahmad, for example, and then deciding that, like, for example, the way things are set up, right? If Amorim comes in and decides not to play Ahmad, the way some fans behave, that would be proof of them that Amorim doesn't know what he's doing, instead of considering the possibility that maybe your perspective about a particular player was wrong. So I think fans all just need to get behind this particular manager, and the club also just needs to give him the reign to deal with the players however he sees fit. These guys have just not been held accountable, honestly.
Yeah, but
And to me, yeah,
on the back of that point that you made there, that's a good one. But I think the Ahmad situation, from what I had been understanding, reading between the lines of the timeline, it was never the fact that people were saying that Ahmad was messy or that Ahmad was, more talented than Rashford or Garnacho or anything. It was just based on the form. And the form that those players were playing at and some of the poor performances they were putting in, no one could quite rationalize or work out in their head why this kid, that when he came on for a couple of cameos here and there that was playing well, why he wasn't in a position to challenge their spot. Why did it seem like it was never a case under Erik ten Hag? That was the main issue. And it's been happening, obviously, it's not only ETH, other managers have also done that. But I would like to see Amorim, and again, I'm not too sure if it's because of the players and because of their contracts, the Glazers. Who knows why certain players get treated certain ways? But I would like to see whoever it is, even if it's my favorite who gets benched. I would like to see there be like how would you call it, like everybody gets their position based on merit, and it's not just based on the name, regardless of who it is, across the board. Because that was the situation with Ahmad. Ahmad was like, there was a point where he was playing and he'd be the first to get subbed off, or he wouldn't, or Rashford would always stay on if he was playing, or it would be the case of Anthony would come on before him and then put in the stinker, but in the following game Anthony would come on again as a substitute. It should just be that everybody should be given an opportunity to impress. They should be given an opportunity to, and if when they come on and do impress, they should be put in a position where they can hold their place, because other players don't impress but keep holding their place. And us as fans, how do we interpret that? Are we interpreting that they're keeping their place based on merit, based on training? So then, what does that mean on match day? Does match day performances don't count? It's all over.
All I'm suggesting is that, like, when Amorim comes in, we should treat the slate as having been wiped clean, right? So I'm watching Saeed TV, right? The last Mandem talk, and people are talking about basically how whatever happens, Bruno and Rashford need to go. Right? It's that kind of attitude that I'm calling out, basically. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care who Amorim uses, right? In midfield, in attack, or in defense. And part of what is required to really hold these players accountable and to really move forward as a team is for when Amorim comes, wipe the slate clean. Basically, everybody has a chance to prove themselves to this new manager. And if your favorite player is not playing, right, instead of making it about, like, some particular specific agenda, let's be open to the fact that, okay, maybe there's more going on behind the scenes or whatever. But
are you just bored? But on the back of that, can't you not understand some fans just frustration of just being tired of some of these players and seeing some of their faces, seeing some of their performances, seeing their temperament, seeing their inability to kind of step up when needed? Like, aren't you just tired of some? Aren't you like a little bit understanding of, like, some fans just being fed up of seeing Rashford, fed up of seeing Bruno being the main guy all the time, just throwing his hands up in the air when the pass goes wayward or someone doesn't control it.
I'll take it a step further and say I kind of agree, right? It's sometimes you need a sacrificial lamb. You need a scapegoat. You need to send a message basically to players in the dressing room and to everybody by taking this person and, like, for example, stripping Maguire of the captaincy or selling one of either Bruno or Rashford or both. Sometimes you need to send a message, and I'm not opposed to that. I was just responding to Jarvis's question about why is it that the players in the team don't seem as motivated as other players in other teams, and I'm pointing out that, like, I think it's for a myriad of factors, some of which includes basically the way the club has treated or protected some players basically over the managers. And I think the fans, one of my enduring beliefs about football is that some fans bear responsibility too as well. But yeah, for me today, the game wasn't as boring or as drab as The other guy seems to think it was. Because I'm watching.
I swear to God, Sean, sometimes I think you watch different football games than us.
No, yeah, no, it's possible.
Sean,
And
really, you must have some glasses that you watch the games with. Can you please
No.
send it over to us? I know you live in California where Silicon Valley is. Have they got these special like glasses they designed? Is it Google glasses where the game just looks more exciting?
I think it's something. It's really as simple as lower stakes. I just, for me, the stakes are just much lower than appears to be for other fans, right? So I'm watching United because it's what I do. I wake up 4 a.m. in the morning or 12 midnight at night. I'm subscribed to METV, and this is the club that I've been supporting for decades, basically, of my life, right? So it's always a good time watching the team.
Is it lower stakes or lower expectations?
A bit of both now, right? I think for me, I believe the Mourinho heritage runs. I think the last 5 years, the last 7 years, the last 3 years are more instructive of where this team are than the legacy of 15 to 20 years ago, right? And that to me tempers my expectations and impacts how I assess what I'm seeing basically on the pitch. And so when we're looking at the game today, I'm happy that we won. It's the first win in Europe in about a year, right? The story to me is not about how bad the opposition was and everything, right? And I don't really understand where this impression comes from that if all the United fans in the world would just band together in our dissatisfaction with the team, that would make something happen. Well, that would make a difference, right? But
well,
yeah,
to be fair, Sean,
we're 15th, innit? We're 15th in this Europa League. We're 15th.
We're 13th in the Premier League. Where are we? Come on, this is Manchester United. They're getting, Sean, I don't think you understand, bro. Like, honestly,
it's the utility of the emotions.
This is Manchester United. Let me just get this super chat 1 second. Otherwise, the people can say they don't want Rashford or Bruno because they're the main issues in our attack. They've played 4 years and others have come and gone and they remain here. Why? They're not good enough. Simple as, yeah. Well,
sure.
That's an opinion. People, we're not even 100 likes. There's over 250 of you in here. We're not even 100 likes. You're taking the fucking piss. Go ahead, Sean.
No, I'm just saying that it's the utility of the emotions, right? Maybe it's a personality thing, right? I don't really get worked up, like, generally. But I just don't really see, like, in the heat of the game, I'm angry, I'm upset, this thing. But, like, right now, all I feel is excitement, basically, for Amorim, for Amorim, for where the team is going, for how poorly some of our opponents are doing. Like, it's a good time. Like, Arsenal is in the mud, and basically Pep is sweating. It looks like his era is over. United, we look like we have a new lease on life. We have a new manager that clearly looks like he knows what he's saying and sounds like basically somebody that has his shit together. I don't really see the benefits in getting upset. And let me not say that. I don't feel as upset basically as
Sean. I swear to God, let me tell you the atmosphere of the stadium tonight. The people are like, they're sick or tired of watching shit. Honestly, every 5-yard pass misplaced, the groans all around is echoing. But big up to their fans, by the way. PAOK fans are mad. They're absolutely bonkers. They're doing some sort of weirdness, but they never stop singing. So big up to them. Big up to their fans. Let me just get this super chat. 1 second. I'll go back to you. Big up to Namaneke. It says Sporting's players may be inferior to United on paper, but they have heart. Our players' mental fortitude has been battered over the years. If Ineos are serious, they would just get rid of our mentality, scared players. Cheers. Yo, big up to you, though. Yeah. Big up. On your kappa, big up to you, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for the super chat. And you've hit it right on the head. That's what I would said. Some of these players have been damaged by some of these bad losses that they've took through this. It's like boxers, innit? Right, Lesso? And I'll ask you all, do you agree or disagree? Like some boxers, innit? When they get hit too much and they just take a beating, psychologically they're never the same. And I'll ask you, I'll go around and ask you, do you think that what Nameke has got here, the point, what he's saying, do you think that stands? And do you think they should get rid? I'll go start with you, Lesso. Quick.
No, definitely. I was actually gonna jump on that point. No, he hit the nail on the head. Like he really got that right. Right there. Um, these players basically have been saying that they've been hiding behind a lot of PR, and they've been associating themselves with basically the wrong crowd. And obviously with the as well, the football club in itself has been a circus for so long. So obviously it's gonna affect them as well, naturally. But yeah, they need to seriously, with the ownership, like I'm just happy what I heard with what Barada said. He said the standard is 2 years. It doesn't matter which manager comes in or whatever, the standard is 2 years for every single footballer. So it's not just the managers that are going to be held accountable. The football players are also going to be held accountable. Just like at City they did, just like at Barcelona they did this. It did the same thing. So they bring in that to Man. They've brought that to Man United. So unfortunately for players that think that they're going to get a clean slate with a new manager, that's not going to be the case. You are all going to be judged individually in terms of quality, in terms of delivering on the pitch, so that in case when the next manager comes in and says, "I want to keep that guy, I want to keep that guy," they're gonna tell him that based on what we've been seeing from this person, he has not been performing because of so and so and so. We cannot keep him, but we can get you someone else, and you can work with that person. And that's what I want going forward. I don't want this thing where a new manager comes in and now he wants to keep this guy or that guy. Certain players need to go. This is a cycle, and then these players get the same manager sacked. So who are we gonna blame at this point? Do you get what I'm saying? So one has both things. Both things can be right in this instance, where both a player can go and a manager can go in terms of bad performances. So these players need to be phased out in that manner. I think it's more sustainable, and it has proven to be successful at all the football clubs that it's had been implemented at. So yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, big up. I'll go to you, Jarvis. Is there something to this super chat here? Are they just damaged?
I think you make a good point, and I totally agree with what he's saying. And I think a lot of these players are emotionally damaged after being part of this Man United team for so many years, and we have been struggling. And every time we lose against Liverpool or Manchester City in a, I would say, a bad way, the 7-0 and 5-1s and all of those results, I think it do something with you as a footballer, because we know confidence is a vital part of the game, and you need to have confidence. But it doesn't say that it's beyond repair. I think it's still possible to make it better with a lot of these players. We showed it, for example, in the FA Cup final, that they are winners when in some days, but it's about to get it consistent. I think it also has to do with the fan base. I think it has to do with the journalists. It has to do with the pressure of being a player of Man United. I think there's so many demands from a Man United place. You have to behave perfectly in every way. And if you do one thing wrong, you get scrutinized by everybody, because everybody is watching you as a Man United player. And I think that pressure is problematic to live with over a long time if you don't get results, because the pressure will only be bigger and worse. So in a way, yeah, it could be a good point just to switch out a couple of these players and reset in a way. So I think it's a good point. And Alien Tenno, I'm not blaming the fan base. I'm just telling you this is the situation of Man United. We have 750 million fans, and we have extremely vocal minorities, for example, who demands the impossible, and we also have a lot of fans who support. So we have the best fan base in the world, but we are so many, so you get everything from our fan base. So it's part of the problem, but it's also part of the solution. We can help them, and I just want to say one quick thing on the fast thing, because I think behavior like that, as Fast did, doesn't help anyone. I feel it's a little bit disrespectful to the players who are taking the time to go and sign autographs and try to connect with the fans, especially with the kids who come to Old Trafford a couple of hours before the game, stands there, wait in the rain and the cold just to get a signature from one of their idols, and being there on match day. I think our role as reporters, this is my opinion, is to support the players, not showing shoving a camera up in the face and try to bait the players with what I call, how I saw it, passive-aggressive advice aimed at highlighting flaws just to provoke a reaction from a young player like Garnacho right before an important game. I find it a little bit tasteless and, yeah, maybe disrespectful also in a way. That's my opinion.
Yeah,
but
you have to.
But I believe in freedom of speech, and I understand how much anger and frustration watching these Man United players, and they shouldn't be untouchable or unreachable. They should get the critique, but maybe it's not the time and place doing it on match day before game, standing with kids signing autographs.
I just want to clarify. I don't know if you watch Rash's channel, but Vass, every game in the past all season, he goes there hours and then he does that. He talks to Diego Dalot. He spoke to Rude. He spoke to Garnacho. He speaks to all different type of players. This is the first time this has happened, and he actually says to him, "I hope you play well, you score, and make sure your first touch is right." It wasn't that disrespectful. I swear he should hear what fans say to players in the stadium. I don't honestly. I didn't see it. Listen,
you don't take a camera into their face.
No. But the camera. But he's coming to sign autographs there. He didn't. He's streaming for hours around in and around the stadium. He's not just doing that to get you, and that's what it was. That's what it was. Honestly, if I was there, I promise you.
For me, it felt like that. But I have only seen the clip. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's it. No. This is it. Watch the whole context. If I was there, I swear to God, I would have given him the fucking Mr. Structure hairdryer. Forget the Fergie fucking hairdryer. I'll be telling them, all of them, not just all of them, that you're a disgrace. You don't deserve to wear the shirt. Because you all go out there and you say this. You all come out on social media when you want it. But then when people question you, you're all of a sudden, you should be playing. Yeah, well, I'm not playing. You're playing. Fucking make sure your first touch is right. And you know what? Tonight, it was a bag of fucking shite. He was shit again. Yes, but Vass was in there, and guess what? Vass is cheering him. Because in the stadium, that's what we do. When you get in that stadium, I hardly ever boo when I get in that stadium. I clap, I shout, I sing the songs, and I come back out. Afterwards, I'm like, you fucking shit.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's a better time.
That's what I do.
What I say, that's a better time, because I think there's a time and place for everything. And before the game starts, in that environment, I don't think it's the right thing. But yeah, that's just me. Maybe I'm old-fashioned.
Of course. But Jarvis, I respect your opinion because you say it differently. Everybody can look at the same thing and see it from a different angles. But for me, I don't think it was that. I actually thought it was quite encouraging statement. You're going to score, you know what I mean? But I just want you to get your first touch. Like, that's all it was. I definitely don't think it was that deep. And I definitely don't think it was like, I got you. But I want to go to Agostino. Do you think what our brother here said, and big up to Alien Tunnel, by the way, I hope that the hospital procedure and all that went well. And if you missed the first half, then it was the best thing you ever did, bro. I'm telling you. I hope everything went well with the hospital. Big up to you. But if you missed the first half, then it was the best thing. And I just want to go to Greg. Greg, you know that it's not as easy as that, because majority of fans have we have a fucking toxic relationship with our football clubs and with the players who play for our football club. That's what happens. We've got it's an emotional, abusive relationship. They can fucking get paid regardless of what. We pay money to go and watch them, and they can turn out some dross fucking performance year after year and year. Some of them don't even want to fucking run back and track back. So it's not as easy as just saying, oh, don't watch. It's not as easy as that. Let me just get the super chat and then I'll go to you, Agostina. Man, we're saying give Rashford a chance on a new manager. But personally, I see more value in the money we could get for a youth player we didn't buy. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, of course. We have to move. This ain't nothing personal, people. It ain't nothing personal. But that goes to the question, Augustino. Should some of these people are they one of some of these boxers who took too much damage, like this thing says here? The brother just says here.
Yeah,
Should we move them on?
Yeah, I'm just quickly on that Faz point. I never thought about that, but that way. But Jarvis makes a really good point because it was maybe the right message, the wrong setting. It was just before the game, and if I'm not mistaken, that particular area is where all the kids are usually asking for autographs and shit.
True.
He's heading off inside the stadium away from them. He makes an effort to come across, which some players don't. They just go straight into the changing room. He's signing autographs, and you can even overhear some kids like saying some nice things to him. And then, and then Faz gives him the insult sandwich by telling him he's gonna play well.
First touch, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think what Jarvis said, he made a really good point. I kind of feel bad for egging it on now because that was kind of out of order and not very necessary. And it's completely different when you're in a stadium and the emotions are high. I can get it. Say what you want. I think he wouldn't, have took it bad himself. And to be fair as well to Garnacho, he did give him a good little clap back straight away. And and it did kind of stop Faz in his tracks. But maybe it was a wrong time, wrong place. But right message, wrong place. But anyway, that aside, I'm a bit conflicted with this thing about the players being concussed and maybe needing a change because there's a part of me that thinks it's true, but I don't know how to deal with it. Like, because we've never been lucky enough to have managers or people come in who do a clean sweep and just get rid of players that other teams do and just decide, hey, even if we're making the wrong decision, we're just going to get rid of you because we need to free up some space and get new players in. Because I feel like that is the best way to give a manager an opportunity to kind of get across their instructions to a group of players who haven't been conditioned, who are not as concussed, who don't have the influence, whatever is going on there. Just kind of clear the books and kind of get some new faces in. But again, I'm also the person that don't think that every solution needs to be transfers and getting new players in. Let's try and make the best out of what we have available now, which is why I kind of think bringing Amorim in kind of a quarter of the way through the season is a good thing because he's kind of being forced to sort of work with what he has until January and then kind of go on from there sort of thing. So a part of me feels like we should clear the book, of some of the dead weight and allow Amorim the opportunity to work with the players who are maybe more malleable, who maybe haven't been conditioned, who haven't been as concussed, who can maybe listen to those instructions better. But I also think we might also be lucky. We might also be just unlucky with the type of personalities and the stature of players that we have. Like the likes of Rashford being a good example of it, of like, his stature and his name brand is probably way higher than his actual talent level or playing ability at his current moment. So we're just one of those unlucky teams that has a weird combination of those type of players. Maguire's another one as well, who name brand, and even Luke Shaw for a lesser degree, who's kind of brand or whatever, kind of demands more and kind of demands, I don't know, like a place in a team, a place in a squad. And those type of things maybe affect how we've kind of set up as a team. So I want to kind of go into it with a clean slate and give Amorim an opportunity to do what needs to be done. But a part of me also feels like it's no coincidence that these players just keep hanging around. There's definitely something amiss going on behind the scenes. I don't know what it is, or maybe they're just the best players that we have available. Who knows? But I would personally, just for me, in how I like to watch football and what I want to see from this team, I just want to see a refresh. I want to see different types of personalities, different types of temperament, different types of just players on the pitch in general, and kind of go with that thing because we've kind of done what we've done already with these players or with this type of combination of players for a while. I kind of just want to see a new change, really. So. That's my
one of the strongest arguments that Ten Hag has had against Ten Hag was that most of the players who played were his players, were recently signed players, right? They were not supposed to have been infected by the same disease that sacked Ole and Mourinho and Van Gaal because these were new players, right? So I don't know if it's necessarily the same thing applies here, that it's the same bunch of players that have sacked different managers. I think there's definitely something to Old Trafford and to that dressing room, right? And the pressure there that sometimes breaks players.
No, but towards the end, he went back and started relying on those players. He wasn't relying on his own players. That's also another bad indictment on him. He signed these players and he quickly lost faith in them and just reverted back to type. Really, to be honest. So.
Even the people that he was relying on at the end, right? It was all players that he signed. Casemiro, Eriksen. The only person that was playing often, the only people that were playing often that Ten Hag didn't sign basically are Rashford and Bruno. And the unfortunate truth for all the people who have set their minds on Rashford and Bruno is that Amorim is coming halfway through the season, and whatever dreams or hopes or aspirations that you have for a good season this year, they rest on Bruno and Rashford performing well. The only way Manchester United in our current state today is going to have a good rest of the season, even when Amorim comes, is if Rashford and Bruno play well. So I don't understand a world in which Amorim will be successful, having taken over from Ruud van Nistelrooy, and we will now be looking to ship out the players who play well for him now. That's why I don't want us to be committed to any specific vision of a squad or of a dressing room. Anybody should be able to get it, whether it's Ahmad,
but
whether it's
how can you
Rashford,
how can you
Bruno,
say
or
we shouldn't be
Martinez.
committed? How can you say we shouldn't be committed to any sort of vision? But then you're saying that we have to be sure we're you're saying just early on that Rashford and Bruno are our best players, and the only chance that we have of success is by relying on those two. You should be open to all possibilities. You should be open to all possibilities that maybe Amorim might come in and find a better solution and option that doesn't rely heavily on Rashford and Bruno.
I'm open to that.
Okay.
I'm more than open to that. I'm open to a world in which our starting lineup is Ahmad on one side, Garnacho on the other side, Mason Mount in the middle, and we never have to play Bruno and Rashford again. I don't mind, right? I'm not invested particularly in any outcome or anything, but I think the problem is that if it were the other way around, I think you might have an issue with it, or some fans would have an issue with it, right? So I'm perfectly willing to open up and say that
I would have an issue there at all. Like I'm not that guy. Like as much as I don't like Bruno, if he's performing for us and he's doing what needs to be done, I'm okay with it. If Amorim finds a solution of playing Bruno further up the pitch as a second striker, playing him from the right, whatever he figures out that gets the best results for the club, I'm all for it. What I don't like in recent years is this insistence, like it's almost as if like there isn't like a meritocracy in this. Like I understand if there's no meritocracy if you're playing for like Barcelona and like Lamine Yamal is in front of you. Doesn't matter if he's got one leg, he always starts in front of you. Fair. But it's Bruno and Rashford. Like, why are these guys the ones who are like keeping out players on the bench who they're not that much better than? Like, it's not that far ahead. That's only the annoying thing for me is that I don't feel like everybody's been given the same amount of opportunities to kind of play through bad form. Like I think Nodi mentions it a few times. I think Nodi mentions it a few times about the 10 games thing, about players need 10 games. I don't know what the number of games is, but it's clear over the years, like certain players have had way more games to impress or to play through bad form than others. I just want it to be a world where, again, it can't be totally fair. Things are different. Players are name brand, but let's have it across the board where everybody gets opportunity to impress. And if you don't impress,
the best coaches do that. The best coaches, the best managers do that.
That's the only thing I want.
Not to have favorism. They just do it on merit. They do it on merit.
No, but those were issues with two different managers, right? Ole and what's his name, Ten Hag. And it's possible that maybe the Glazers were interfering in that regard. But what I'm getting at is that with Amorim coming in, I trust him. Because I understand why the Ineos and the new ownership signed him as our manager. And we all basically watched them beat Man City. We're all excited. And I'm saying we should trust the manager, essentially, right?
But you understand why I'm skeptical, though, right? It's been 6 years. Like you said, Ollie and Erik ten Hag. That's what, a total of like 6 seasons of that kind of there being no meritocracy. Players getting picked basically on their name brand. Some players being picked ahead of other players based on it. Like that's why some people like myself are not as optimistic or like blindly hopeful as maybe you are. I probably need more evidence.
There are 3 possible reasons for why that happened, right? One reason is that both Ten Hag and Ole somehow fell in love with Bruno and Rashford, right? And they decided to play them all the time. Another possible reason is that the Glazers insisted that those guys play regardless of what happened, right? A third possibility is that maybe actually Bruno and Rashford are one of the best players in the squad. One of those 3 is true. And we'll find out basically when Amorim comes in, right? Hopefully, if Ineos don't interfere with selecting the squad, and if Amorim is a strong personality, strong enough to resist such interference, then we will see, right? But then the issue is that like the problem I have with people who make the claim that you're making, the argument that you're making, is that the goalpost is going to shift, right? And I'm prepared to change my position if confronted with alternative fact. So if Amorim now decides not to use Bruno and Rashford, I'm fine with it. But the problem is that there are fans who will now change the goalpost basically and accuse Amorim of not knowing what he's doing. If for the third time running, the third straight manager decides to play some players basically that are not fan favorites, and that's what I'm getting at basically. That everybody can be lying, right? We have to be open to the possibility that some of the things that we think about football are wrong, and I'm open to that possibility. So if Amorim comes in like you said and starts playing it and weekly up front instead of Højlund or Garnacho on the left side of Rashford, I don't mind. But I don't think you would be okay, and I don't think many fans would be okay if Amorim's still using Bruno and Rashford, right? It would then become a conspiracy of
no,
maybe
not
actually
really. If we're
setting him up to
performing,
fail.
I think you're assuming the worst out of people you disagree with and not really giving them benefit of the doubt. The same way you want people to give you the benefit of the doubt about some of the selections that we should have in our team. It's not always going to be like that. I think most fans, especially at this stage, are just open to just seeing something different. But if the manager comes in, and is able to get the best out of players who some of them don't like, they're willing to give it a go. Look what happened to Maguire. Maguire was
we're five here. Let's do it.
Maguire was hated amongst the fan base completely, no? And look at how he turned it around. I think
we're five here.
Most fans are very forgiving.
Let's do a test here, Agostino. We're five United fans on this call, basically, right? All from different backgrounds, probably representative of the diversity of the fan base. And the question is for each of the panels, basically, if Ruben Amorim, right, is able to get the best out of Rashford and Bruno, do you mind them still remaining in the squad? My answer is yes. Agostino, I believe the answer is yes, right? Jarvis, Nuruddin, Lesu.
Say that question again, sorry. So you just think a little bit.
If Amorim is able to get the best out of Bruno and Rashford,
yeah, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
Okay.
As long as they play well, listen. As long as they've been consistent and they're doing it week in, week out, I don't give a damn who you are. I don't give a damn. But I do think there's something to the super chat we had that some players have took on a too psychological beating mentally. They're fragile. They're very fragile and they all crumble. And sometimes you have to clear that out so that they're not scarred because they took heavy losses. But if the manager comes in and the players I don't rate, even like the likes of Johnny Evans, and I think that is just, I just think it's really weird with Johnny Evans. I swear to God, I just think it's so weird. Like he's playing for Manchester United. Because you know where we are when Johnny Evans starting for Manchester United week in, week out, or every other week. If that level, and I'm just like, I just can't believe this. So even if he turns into Maldini, I don't give a damn. If he's performing week in and week out, I'll be there singing the songs. So for me, the biggest thing is that come out, and when Bruno gets subbed, he starts making faces and laughing and starts shaking his head, being petulant. And I'm like, but you've been shit. Do you think you're so amazing on the football pitch? These are the things. Like, it's just, it's like that they live in a different world. So I don't give a damn. If the manager comes in, the best I would be like, give that manager whatever money he wants. Like, honestly, that manager has got a magic wand. It will be the greatest comeback in their careers if Bruno and Rashford start banging and performing week in, week out.
And that's a really annoying. And that's a really annoying thing about the Bruno situation too, because it's like, you know, it all goes back to the ownership and the like hesitancy to pull the trigger on Erik ten Hag early. It's like now Amarin's getting a worse version of Bruno. He's getting Bruno down on confidence, not playing the way that he was maybe a couple of seasons ago, and it's just made the job harder because now he has a contract. Now he's playing badly. It's going to be hard to get him. Even if he doesn't turn it around, it's going to be hard to get him off the books. He's clearly a big personality, well liked around the squad. It's going to be hard to manage that. It just makes the situation much more difficult. But who knows? Maybe the new manager coming in will give him a new lease of life. Maybe, you know, maybe not putting so much responsibility on the ball, on everything going through him, and maybe he can contribute to, like, you know, finishing touches the same way he does with Portugal and national team, and he's not just a main kind of talisman that could help him going forward. But you know, it kind of remains to be seen. But I understand why some fans just want to see something different because these players have exhausted, as much as they probably get exhausted with us, the fans complaining and moaning and, you know, and doorstepping them, whatever that term is, like Faz did and stuff. We're also annoyed about seeing these players doing the same thing again and again and again, flattering to deceive. and just hoping next season they kind of figure it out, and they never do figure it out. So let's see what happens and go forward from there.
I just want
Yeah.
the manager to
Yeah.
when Bruno looks like he's making the wrong decisions or is misplacing passes or he looks like 70 minutes into the game, he has nothing to offer us. I don't want a manager who is waiting for Bruno to pull a rabbit out of the hat, right? I just want a manager that keeps them honest. I guess I'm saying point blank that I don't believe the declarations, right? Because I've heard some fans say that. I think you are asking me to understand why some fans feel that way, right? So I still think there's a bit of a contradiction in the declaration we're all making here that we're fine whether or not Rashford stays, but also Rashford and Bruno stay, but also some players do need to get it, regardless of the outcome.
Sorry, hold on. You don't
Mhm.
like you don't believe what? Repeat that again.
I don't believe the declaration that fans are okay whether or not Bruno and Rashford stay, right? I'm saying I don't believe it, regardless of what we're saying here. I think there's a bit of a contradiction in saying on one hand
fair play.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I think majority of the fans, Sean, Jarvis can come in and Lesso can come in as well. Majority of the fans, if Manchester United are and they're doing the business on the pitch, I don't think majority of fans would be like having a go. Bruno's been crap for a year and a half. For a year and a half, he stunk the place out.
No, but
Rashford has been non-existent for the fucking a year and a half as well, both of them. Because Ten Hag played through both of them, and the Ten Hag system was falling apart, and then they fell apart, but he kept playing them. And that's what fans are like most frustrated about.
Exactly. We have got a toxic faction of our fan base that are never happy. I understand that. But I don't think they speak to the majority of us because there's still some fans on the timeline who are hoping that Luke Shaw can turn it around. They're waiting for him to come back they're waiting for him to come back from injury. So to sit there and say that fans are not like hopeful or aren't going to give players a second chance, third chances, I don't know. Like, I think that's being a little bit too harsh and not really reading the fan base correctly. I think we're the most forgiving fan base when it comes to players who flatter to deceive, players who don't really, maybe quote unquote earn their wage and whatever it may be. I think if the players can perform under this manager, regardless if they're fan favorites or not, people are going to be happy. Like,
yeah, no,
even when it comes to the likes of Maguire, like I've not seen. I don't know about you, but I don't know about you. Have you seen the comments about Maguire online where he mentioned wants a new contract?
I acknowledge the diverse United fan base, right? I said that the fan base, even as we have on this call here, represents just how diverse the points of views essentially across the fan base are. So I do agree that there's a contingent of the fan base that is hopeful and is giddy FC, as we like to call them here, or is delusional basically for a variety of reasons, right? But what I'm saying, I think the strongest, loudest, most prominent voices essentially that take up the airspace for fans, have some. I have an axe to grind essentially with the larger or louder narratives that we get. But yeah, for me, it's nothing but like Giddy FC hopium from here on out, right? I think the route train is going along smoothly. No defeat so far, 3-3. I expect that to continue this weekend against Leicester. And I look forward to Amorim coming and bossing the league essentially. We had a handover basically, against City, one old generation passing to the new generation. I would encourage everybody to put aside whatever specific individual, because even in the comments I'm seeing no clean slate. Somebody needs to. We want a sacrificial lamb, basically like a pound of flesh, to make the fans happy. I'm not opposed to that, right? I thought we got that by selling McTominay in the summer, but I think people still want either Bruno or Rashford basically head to road. So maybe that would pacify the fan base. But for me, everybody gets a clean slate. Everybody gets a chance to oh no, Rashford got to go. Okay, yeah, sure. So everybody gets a clean slate.
Some fans feel that. Some fans believe that. Sean, stop being scared to say names like Rance and Saeed. You know who you're talking about. I'm talking about me as well. You know what I mean? So it's all good.
Yeah,
I had more fun at the hospital than watching Manchester United. Let me, Sean, tonight. Alien Tenor had to have a procedure at hospital. Sean, 1 second. Sean, 1 second. Alien Tenor had to have a procedure at hospital. Alien Tenor says, I had more fun in hospital than watching United. I'm so happy that Alien Tunnel missed that first half. Go ahead, Sean. Reply to that.
No, I was just saying that, like, I just acknowledged here. I'm talking about. I know he didn't admit it. I'm talking about him. We disagree very vibrantly here. I don't like. I think what Adewale is showing, I think, is part of the issue with our fan base, right? Like this kind of, and maybe just this generation at large, like this kind of the WWFification of everything. Everything needs to be entertainment and blood sports for your banter, for your excitement, right? So Sean is scared, right? And then you want to make a drama so that I can say something insulting or pejorative towards Ransom and say, it's not that deep, man. I think people need to get hobbies.
If it's not that deep, why are you like making arguments that people aren't making here? Then you're talking about, like, no one here made the argument that people are not gonna give faith to the players if they start turning things around. But you started making arguments about things that no one was mentioning here. I think the majority of even people in the chat are basically, obviously some people are trolling by saying no clean slates and stuff. But I think the majority of fans just want to see us play good football again. The majority of fans want to see us put in good performances, want to see us scoring goals. No one gives a fuck if the person scoring goals up front is Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire. I don't know if Anthony Martial comes back on loan. Like, no one gives a fuck. Everyone just wants to see the club do well again. But those same players I mentioned are also part of a history of United that have kind of flattered to deceive and have been pretty shit over the last few years. That's why some fans are angry about it. Like,
no, but I want to just get this right. I'm not blaming them. I'm genuinely not blaming them. They're not Rashford. Listen, Sean, 1 second. Bruno and Rashford are not to blame for everything. I've said it more than any other time, and I see it happening with Amarin as well. Manchester United love a scapegoat and we love a savior. No other fan base. And that's because of the toxicity that's created by the football club, by the Glazers, and now the Ineos lot, the PR machine in the last 12 to 10 years. This is being created, right? So it is a mixture of all things. But I promise you, Sean, if certain players start banging them in, you won't hear a majority of the fan base. Everybody be talking about how good we played and how good they're playing and all that. I mean, Rashford, when he scored those 30 goals that season, everybody was like, wow, you know what I mean? Even though, actually, after the first, for the last 14 goals, he wasn't actually non-existent in these games. He just score. He will just score and wasn't actually contributing to the performance in the games. He will just score the goal.
Just to clarify, I agree that majority of the fans don't care. Agostino, I'm referring specifically to those fans who do care, as we can see in the comments, and those fans who want to have it both ways, as you try to do, right? To say on one hand, it doesn't matter, nobody cares, but also, some people need to get it, right? For me, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter.
No,
there is no.
I didn't say that.
Right? It doesn't matter.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I did not say that. What I'm saying is that I'm completely understanding and aware of why some fans, like you said, want a sacrificial lamb. I get it. I'm not ignoring the history, like the recent 5 or 10 the past 2 decades of United history under the Glazer ownership. We know how it's been. We're not going to try and sugarcoat things and make it seem all rosy. We're not going to go on a trucking trophies rant like Ericsson Hargis. It's been largely shit. The majority of it's been shit. I know why some fans want a sacrificial lamb. I get it. But the majority of fans are also open to the fact that their candidate for a sacrificial lamb, if they turn it around and start playing amazing, they're going to be cheering for them from the rooftops. We've done it all the time. We did it when McTominay was going through a good run, coming on a sub for United too. And a lot of fans hated him as well. So I think you're being a little bit disingenuous to the fan base. Like you're making it seem as if the way you view the fan base is the correct way, but the way that they view the players isn't the correct way. Both things can be true at the same time. You can be a little bit right on your side of things, and the fans that don't agree with your point of view can be right where they stand from it. But the crux of it comes down to the crux of it comes down to
Sean, let him finish.
The crux of it, the crux of it comes. No, I'll wrap up quickly now. The crux of it comes down to the coach, comes down to the players performing. That's what the crux of it comes down to. As soon as we start performing on a pitch, all of this back and forth, all this bickering, all of this whatever, name calling, subtweeting, blah 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 blah, it's over. It's done. We're just going through this now because we're playing terrible. that's a reflection of what's going on in the pitch. No matter how much people want to spin it, whatever, that's exactly what's going on.
It's the product. We become toxic because of what is served up. But Augustino, listen, I just want to move the conversation on, Sean. I think we've gone around it in about half an hour.
I just want to clarify that. Augustino, you're correct. I don't like large swaths of our fan base, right? Don't get it twisted as if I'm being disingenuous.
But every fan base where the club's failing is like that.
Let me be clear. To a large extent, I don't like and I disagree with a large swath of our fan base. Sorry, Norton, go on.
I could never tell.
Yeah, listen, big up Augustino. Actually, I'm gonna go to Lesso and then Jarvis and Augustino and Sean. Listen, our new coach, head coach, not a manager, our new head coach starts on Monday. Lesso, give me two pieces of advice that you want to give to this guy. Think about it, Jarvis. I'm coming to you. Think about the two pieces of advice. If you could talk to him, if you could meet Amarin in a lift on Monday, what would you say to them? Two pieces of advice. One. No camera in his face. Just two pieces of advice.
Number one, look into just already for the first one. I'd say he needs to look into the performances previous. He needs to listen to previous information. I've noticed that one of the things he said is that he's not gonna come here and listen to what whatever reports he's gonna get. He's just gonna do whatever he wants to do. First mistake, Tanakh made that very same mistake. When he somewhat, I'd say, he did not want to actually listen or hear from Rennick. And that already caused that for me. I think it was done in terms of his job, because he was walking into this job blind, like he had no information whatsoever. He was going to learn on the job. You can't do that at a big club. Unfortunately, there are expectations. People will hold you to high expectations, and that's about it. Second, he needs to make sure that he gets players that fit his profile. He needs to make sure that he plays players on merit as well. That's the most important thing. Play your system. Don't be scared to play the system that you want to play. Implement it. If it's not working out, you can weed out those who do not fit that system. Done. That's it.
Go ahead, Jarvis. Listen in the chat as well. Let me know two pieces of advice. Go ahead, Jarvis. What are you giving him? You pretend Monday, Jarvis, you're there. You meet him. Ruben Amarin stood in front of you. What are you saying to him? Two pieces of advice. I know you got a lot more advice for him, but what? Two of the two?
But I don't speak Portuguese, so that's my biggest problem. But I would try in my
you
Norwegian
speak a bloody
English.
good English. You speak amazing English.
Yeah. No, first of all, I would say to him, just stay true to your beliefs. Don't go out of your way and try to do something else. Do what you believe in, what you think you know, and what you can. Play your system, play your tactics, try to implement your style. Do it your way, because either it will work or it won't work. But at least he tried his own way. Like the famous Frank Sinatra, did it my way. So that would be my first advice: stay true to your beliefs. And I would go with what Adewale said. Don't listen to anyone, because this club is full of politicians and toxic people who have their own agenda, agents, and you have the old Fergie brigade with ex-players who want the Man United way. You have a fan base who was all over the place. There's so many opinions when it comes to this club. So the best thing you can do is don't listen to anyone. So if I was Amarin, two advices: stay true to your beliefs, don't listen to anyone. And I just want to make a quick comment on the debate you guys had with the fan base. And I believe when it comes to the fan base and the players, we as a fan base, we are like in a symbiosis. Is that the right name? Symbiosis with the players, the fan base and the players. So in a way, the players' performance reflect our emotions, and the other way around also. So I believe if it gets too toxic, I think the best thing would be to remove some of the players, because I think it's very hard for the fan base to forgive some of the players, even if they perform for 6 months or a purple patch. I think there will always be doubt in the mind of the fan base, and they won't like fully support that player 100%. For me, for example, when McTominay had good spells, it always stuck in my mind. I knew he wasn't good enough. His abilities on the pitch as a player wasn't good enough. So every time he scored, I would cheer, but I knew it will only prolong the inevitable. He has to go. And this is, I think a lot of the fan base feels the same about a lot of these players, even though Amorim comes in and make Rashford the best striker for the next 6 months. I think all of us will know, will it last this time? Or will it be another 2 years? So for me, it will always be a doubt. So I believe, as the super chat and the discussion, I think a lot of these players, even if they perform, I think it's time for a lot of them to go.
Big up. Let me just get the super chat. Big up, Tariq Rashid. Big up for the super chat. Appreciate you, King. He says, big up, my brother. I think we're going to smash your new manager at Anfield. I also like to snatch Ahmad from your team. Big up, man. I appreciate you. Big up,
give us
Tariq.
Salah. You can have Ahmad.
Yeah. Mo Salah. Wow. I think Mo Salah might even have a big up to everybody, though. Go ahead, Sean. Well, you're there.
Two pieces
Your
of
two
advice,
pieces
right?
of advice.
Number one, you have the right idea. Don't listen to anyone. Don't listen to the media. Don't listen to former players. And especially don't listen to what the fans are saying. Fans are the most inconsistent, fickle people you could ever meet. And we just want to win. So lock yourself away for 6 months and don't listen to anyone. That's number one.
He's going to do that. He's going to do that. He said that.
Yeah.
He's going to do it.
Yeah, right idea. Number two, please don't underestimate the Premier League. You have no idea what you're walking into. Every single game is a cup game, especially when it's against Manchester United. There are lots of people looking to make a fool out of Man United and out of you yourself. So just come into every single game expecting people to have the games of their lives. I think he has the right idea that he can expect us to defend the way Sporting defended. So please don't underestimate the Premier League and don't listen to anyone. So this is advice.
Letso, go ahead. Letso already said it. Augustino, go ahead. What's your two pieces of advice?
My two pieces of advice would be, number one, return the club to a somewhat of a meritocracy. I understand sometimes it can't happen across the board, but I feel like this current iteration of United is in no place to have players who just play based on their name. There's no one good enough that should demand that kind of level of certainty. So return it to a meritocracy. Have it be where, every training session is basically, it's basically your opportunity to play in games. When you get the opportunity to play in games, if you play better than the person that started, you get an opportunity to maybe start the next game, and to really put that onus back on that squad again, so that the players are chomping at the bit to perform their best and to ensure that they can play and get some minutes on the pitch. And I think in general, that will improve the squad overall, because everybody knows their position's up for grabs. And then I would say the second piece of advice, return it to a meritocracy and be open to unconventional options and answers. Don't be beholden to maybe previous players or players, profiles. Don't be beholden to the profile players had under previous managers. Be open to the idea of maybe exploring different options. Whether, let me just throw something out, whether that's Martinez playing in midfield, Anthony playing as a left wing back, Ahmad playing in the center, whatever it may be open to those kind of possibilities. And maybe from that, you might end up stumbling on a solution that you probably wouldn't have if you weren't open to those type of things. So those are probably my two pieces of advice for him.
Yeah, big up. My two pieces of advice, to answer my own question, would be stay away from the Glazers. Don't meet with them. When you hear the chant Glazers out, you stand up and clap. That gets you more associated with the fans. That's number one, how to win the fan base. It doesn't take that much. When we say if you hate Glazers, stand up in the stadium, you got to stand up as well. Big up. They won't know. They're clueless. They know nothing about fan culture. They know nothing about football. But on a serious note, the biggest advice I would say is to way that our rotten culture is to create a new culture. So when you create matches, first of all, get out of the Europa League ASAP, right? I'm not lying to you. Get out of the Europa League, and then the first thing I would say is then to start coaching. Use the time for the games in Europa League on the training ground and create a very highly competitive culture on the training ground. When you do the 8 versus 8, 9 versus 9, make sure the level of intensity and aggression in those would be superb, and coach the whole squad. Don't just coach the 13 or 15, coach the whole squad. So when you get injuries, players just play the system. Make sure the players understand the system. So create a competitive training ground culture. And I promise you, it will get you in good stead. It would get you in really good stead. And the second advice is, I think what most people have said, just, you know what, be fair. If the players are doing it, no captain, no vice captain, no leaders nobody is above being subbed if they're having a stinker. Nobody is above being dropped. That's what we need. And I promise you, you'll have the fan base eating at the palm of your hand. That the fans will be doing that.
Just out of curiosity, how does Amorim orchestrate us getting out of the Europa League? Like in your view, like self-sabotage?
No. It's simple. The same way Jose did. Jose threw in the Premier League and focused on the Europa League. Just focus on playing the team that you want to play and try some of the youngsters in the Europa League. That's what you need to do. Get your whatever team once you get into it, and try to get points in the Premier League, because that's your bread and butter. That will always determine whether you are a Manchester United coach or are not a Manchester United coach. It's simple. I'm not asking him to do something spectacular. Just focus on the Premier League.
Sean doesn't expect much from these players, but then also wants trophies.
No. I was actually even being facetious now. Right? I think get out of the Europa is a different thing from play the youngsters. And I'm glad that Nuri didn't clarified. I actually think the players are better than
no manager. Sean, come on, don't be ridiculous. No manager's gonna go, right, boys, we're gonna coach you to lose this game. No, you just play the youngsters like Fergie used to do. Fergie would sometimes be playing the youngsters in the Carabao Cup, sometimes in the FA Cup, sometimes in the Europa League games, or towards the end of the Champions League group stages. He would throw in 3 or 4 youngsters.
One of our fundamental differences is that you don't mind losing if you play well. And I would rather win than play well. So I have to clarify exactly.
I want to play well because I've watched shit for 12 years, Sean.
Yeah.
But to be fair to you, Sean, you also think we play well when we don't play well. So
no, yeah, I mean, right? Because quote unquote well is, I guess, like relative, and if you put it in the context of everything. But yeah, I think the team is better than 13th place. I actually don't think football is as complicated as many people try to make it seem. My ultimate football equation is that the outcome we see on the pitch, right? Only about 40% of it is due to tactics or technical stuff like player skills and talent. 60% is mentality and vibes. And what I'm looking for from Amorim is the mentality and the vibes. Bring that energy, bring that integrity, the meritocracy, as you're saying, to the squad. Let all the players be jumping at the bit, and the rest of it is beans, basically.
Yeah, I just don't think we have the I would like to see us win everything too, but I just don't think we have the quality at the moment. Maybe even the temperament to kind of sustain challenges across all the cup competitions plus the European. Just not. He's going to have to pick again. It doesn't mean like only focusing on one thing. It could be focusing on 2. But the idea that we can do everything is the same mistake we made under Erik ten Hag. I wouldn't like to see that get repeated. And I don't know. I just don't think we have the quality really to do that. It would be nice if we could, but I just don't think we do, to be honest.
Yeah, big up. Listen, big up to everybody. Love and light. We can talk about it all day and night. It's been a brilliant discussion. Big up to Augustino for coming on. I appreciate you, King.
Big up.
Anytime you want the link, let us know. We'll send it to you. Big up Lesso and big up Sean, the contrarian. Big up Sean. Sean, never change, my friend. Never change, brother. Never change. Always stick to your guns. You know,
you're our tie, Sean. Never change. You are our tie. You are our tie. We need you.
You are.
I mean, I don't know how to not see that as an insult for Augustino, but sure. Right.
It's not. Listen, Ty loves his football club.
Ty is but Augustino knows that he was using it as a pejorative now, but sure.
Come on.
Ty
I'm
just
not
loves his
insulting
football
you.
club.
He loves his like he's like
It's about that
toxic
life.
positivity. Yeah, he backs his team. You back your team. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're as short as him. I'm not saying you look like him or anything. I'm just saying you back your team. That's it.
He's fellow countryman as well. You know what I mean? Don't worry about it. It's all good.
He's a beautiful man. You're beautiful too.
Exactly. Yeah, beautiful, Sean. Like always. Big up Bledsoe. Big up Augustino. Jarvis Bowley. Always. By the way, people, hopefully channel coming maybe very soon. Maybe soon. Keep an eye out. Bowley 77. Keep an eye out, people. Keep an eye out. Something might be in the waters. Big up to everybody. Listen. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, because here is straight talking. It's just straight talking. You know what I mean? Here, everybody's welcome as long as you're not insulting and dehumanizing each other. Everything goes. It's all love. It's just a football opinion. It ain't that deep. It ain't that dark, people. We all get passionate. We can get into screaming matches, but we're just because we love this fucking football club. But tonight was a snooze fucking, that first half. I'm never going to forget that fucking first half. Honestly. I'm never going to unsee that first half. And Jarvis, I think, hit the nail right on the head. Teams that are so bad are bringing us down to their level. And that is when the rot is the rot. Everybody's waiting. Big up to Unai. I keep saying Unai. Ruben Amorim. Big up to him. Monday, you'll be at Carrington. I wish you all the best of luck. If anybody, all those United fans and if Manchester United had any idea, they would ask all of the teams, national teams, can the players stay here? Because you're not playing World Cup qualifiers. Most of you are playing friendlies. And then they will send them on a warm 2 weeks somewhere hot in Spain or somewhere. Actually, there's a lot of floods in Spain. But somewhere warm where they can go and train. Maybe somewhere like Portugal. You know what I mean? Fly back to Portugal, 2 weeks training, a pre-season. So he can work with players. That is what I'm talking about. That is what I would like. That would be the perfect thing. But yeah, wish you say Unai. No, I don't. But yeah, big up to everybody. Love and light. And yeah, let's go, people. Let's go. So make sure you check out Agostino Zinga on Twitter. And make sure you check out his YouTube channel as well, please. If you're into fashion, music, culture, just a cultural commentator, please go and check his YouTube channel out. Make sure you subscribe to that. If you're into the culture and if you want to know, he's got some incredibly interesting points of views. A lot of them I disagree with, but, you know, I watch it and I'm always entertained. So big up to Augustino. Let's Go Football, Black Rain, at Twitter, Black Rain. Bowley 77, Jarvis Cocker, Bowley 77. Make sure you check him out, Man UFC Realist TV on Mondays. But keep an eye out on something in the works, people. Ooh. Something in the works. But make sure you check it out, Bowley 77, Man UFC Realist TV, Jarvis Corner Monday. One of my favorite shows on YouTube. Sean, make sure you check out Sean Thomas and on Twitter. And make sure you check him out and across all your podcast providers. Geopolitical podcast called How We See Things. Big up to everybody.
On the 2024 US election. Go check it
out. Yeah. Oh my God, we can talk about that. Listen, Agostino, you need to invite me and Sean and anybody who wants to come on your channel. Let's talk about that because damn, have I got something to say. For me, the biggest thing is the biggest thing I hate is liberal ideology, corporate ideology. You have to, if you want the votes, politicians need to earn the votes of the people. You can't just expect and chat shit about people being voting for you. And no, do I think everybody who voted for Trump is racist? No, I don't think that. I think Trump is racist. I think Trump is one of those honest politicians that he actually says what he says on the tin. You know who he is. You know what I mean? You know who he is. And I would like people like that. I prefer as a black person, as a Muslim person in this world, and if I lived in that country, I would like to know because I know what's coming for me. Other than liberal corporate, listen, wow. Liberal ideology, corporate ideology for me is the thing that killed it. And Kamala didn't have a spot. But anyway, the party that's doing the genocide now as we speak in Palestine needed to be punished. Needed to be punished. And I'm afraid they didn't make a bigger argument about it. You saw so many people didn't even go to the polls. And the food prices in America, the gas prices, all those things, and the material things were affected this election. And people, the liberals, all the pearl clutching, save it for somebody who fucking knows. For the rest of us in the world, especially parts of the world where I'm from, whether it's Democrat or Republican, whether it's red or fucking blue, you're getting bombed, you're getting murdered anyway. That's how it is, people. That is how it's always been on the American empire. So fuck US empire, fuck the genocidal fucking empire, fuck the Zionists, fuck Trump, fuck Kamala, fuck Biden, fuck all politicians, free the people, free the land. Free Sudan, free Lebanon, free Haiti, free Ogaden, Tigray, free everywhere where people are struggling, regardless of orientation, gender, anything that human beings have about themselves. Free the people. We always stand for freedom and personal fucking free speech. Even I will, if you want to call me all sorts of things, I will fight for you to say that. To say what you want to say. Because I always know when authoritarian European and Western countries, they always want to use that to silence the people who are there abusing the most. So that's why I'm always like, any black or brown people or any minorities who are like, no freedom of speech. Nah, you're going to be silenced the most. In this country, in this fucking country, they're arresting journalists who are telling the truth about the genocide and the UK involvement in the genocide. They're using anti-terror laws to arrest them. You can't make this shit up. So for me, freedom of fucking speech. And you can offend me as much as you fucking want. But for me, people have got to speak. I have the right to be offended to what you're saying, and I have the right to challenge it. And you have your right to say whatever the fuck you want to say. That's how it is. But peace, love, and light, people. And we'll be back 11 o'clock tomorrow with a podcast. Me and Saeed will be live at 11 o'clock on United Real Therapy tomorrow morning. 11 o'clock UK time. We'll be doing the Leicester preview. Big up, love and light. Smash a like on your way out. Big up Jarvis. Big up Agostino. Big up King. Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate making your debut. Big up Lesso all the way down there in Southern Africa. Big up Sean. I'm sorry if you're suffering under the Trump, but you blame the fucking system, not fucking Trump. The political system is what is messing people up, bro. It's the system. It's not Trump. Trump is what is there. It's what the system has produced. He is what the system has produced, not just him personally. But big up to everybody. Love and light. Good night.
Yeah.
Night.